if you're a goaltender, you don't need to tend the goal if you're going to make wicked saves like that. HatPicks. Ooh, got up there. Hello, friends. Steve Dangle here, and welcome to another episode of Steve's HatPicks, where we take a look at the best from around the NHL over the past week. I don't know if you've noticed, but there hasn't been a lot from around the NHL over the past week. That's what happens when there's only 2 series left and one of them ends in a sweep. And speaking of, let's have a look at the last shining moment of the Carolina Hurricanes. What a setup from Jordan Martinook.
Carolina chance off a good aggressive play. Shea again, and he fired that wide and looks up into the Raptors. In behind the net, Martinook in front, scores! Jesper Fast has tied it with 3:22 to go.
But into the traffic in front. How about this play by Martinook? Right off the skate of Bennett, who can't get his stick there.
Oh yeah, Fast with the finish, but Martinook, what a feed. And at that moment, the Hurricanes thought for sure in this series where they were on the verge of getting swept, even though it wasn't a sweep, depending on who you ask, it was definitely a sweep. They thought they had forced overtime. And for that one shining moment, that's a hat pick. But then, of course, what happened after that, with less than 5 seconds remaining in regulation in Game 4, Matthew actual Tkachuk.
It's Tkachuk. Finding Reinhart. His shot, and that hit iron, I think. Looked like it had. Now Tkachuk out in front. Score! 4.3 to go. It's a series winner again for Matthew Tkachuk.
What a playoff. What a pickup. Here's the one really good chance right off the tee of the bar and out the other side. And just great patience here by Tkachuk. He's got traffic in front of him, a body in front of Anderson as Pesce goes down, and no panic. He's been big money. Man, what a deal. Coming over to Florida Dad's face says it all.
He does it again. He does it again. 2 overtime winners and essentially a third in a 4-game series. That's preposterous. That's ridiculous. What are the mathematical odds of that? What are the mathematical odds of anything? Anything to do with the Florida Panthers, seriously. And this is a fun one. In the second round, when the Panthers eliminated the Toronto Maple Leafs, there was the famous little clip of Radko Gudas holding Kalle Järnkrok's stick on the OT winner. Can I show you something? Pay close attention to what Sam Bennett's stick does to Freddie Anderson's.
Out the other side, and just great patience here by Tkachuk.
The dude basically does a stick lift on the goalie, and he knows what he's doing. But they didn't have a problem with that, and that's part of the beauty of the Florida Panthers. They know how to just tiptoe along the line, and they don't tiptoe along the line. They fly across it like a battering ram and outwork you, and oh yeah, they get a ton of saves as well. It's not the most beautiful hockey, depending on who you ask. I know it's not the most numerically or analytically sound, but I tell you what, they swept the Eastern Conference Final, and they will now compete to potentially win the first Stanley Cup in their franchise's history. Buddy, that's a hat pick. For our next hat pick, another team gone too soon, but not quite as soon as the Carolina Hurricanes, the Dallas Stars. Down 3-0, they find a way to force Game 5 and then Game 6. Here's how they force Game 5. Jason Robertson, we'll start with him, bats it out of the air to himself and in.
Heiskanen, the rookie hits, up high to Heiskanen. Heiskanen with a shot, tips out, and up and Robertson scores! Jason Robertson, power play goal!
To cheer about, nice setup, back to Heiskanen. He walks in, and that's just a beautiful pass through the seam. I think they all thought he was going to risk this to the net. Instead, he gets it down low. McNabb's one of those guys who kills penalties for you, and he's tough to get inside on. This was fairly easier, as not only did Robertson deflect this puck, and I was just about to say, that was an incredible glove save by Adin Hill, and the thing popped right up into the air in front of Robertson. He bangs it into the net. Sega says, I'm just going to be absolutely sure about this.
Man, I hate when goals like that are lost in the ether. They're just lost forever. They're a footnote in a series that the Stars ultimately lost. But that is one of the goals of the playoffs. That is hand-eye coordination madness from Jason Robertson, who was really starting to heat up too. Fantastic goal from the, can you still call him a youngster? He's got a lot of good hockey left in him, man. That's a hat pick. Our next hat pick comes from a Dallas Star who you definitely can't call a youngster, Joe Pavelski. Benjamin Button with the OT winner in Game 4 to keep the Stars alive.
Ottinger sets it up again. And now it is Heiskanen that starts out with it. He'll leave it back for Roope Hintz. Hintz up to center for Robertson. Trying to play it in and a battle with Howden. It's in front. Roope Hintz with a chance. Hill is down and it's knocked wide. Hintz up high. Heiskanen across. Down! Joe Pavelski! And we're going back to Vegas.
3 goals tonight. A high stick by McNabb ends up being it. The one that gets to them. Robertson with a great game. Pavelski with a really nice one-timer. Heiskanen lays it right in the perfect spot, right off that back foot where he can really reach back and grab it and let it go. And the 38-year-old Joe Pavelski says to Jamie Benn, don't worry, you're not done yet. And you're going to be back in and playing, and they're going to be thrilled that they won this game. And Jamie Benn gets back in the fold.
Joe Pavelski with his 4th career overtime winner in the playoffs.
How does he keep doing it? Joe Pavelski does not care about age curves or nothing. He is still playing stellar hockey, and he is a prime reason why I hate the argument when it comes to the Hockey Hall of Fame that you have to have a cup. Listen, I understand, obviously, why championships are relevant. It's the thing that all players play for, and if you fall short of that goal, were you actually one of the greatest players of all time? I understand. But all Joe Pavelski has done year in and year out, wherever he goes basically, has been a playoff performer. This was the 9th time in Joe Pavelski's career he played double-digit playoff games in a single Stanley Cup playoff run. It was the 6th time Joe Pavelski put up double-digit points in a Stanley Cup playoff run. He had 14 goals and 23 points in the 24 games the Sharks played en route to the 2016 Cup final. He had 13 goals and 19 points in 27 Stanley Cup playoff games with Dallas, and the reason he played 27 games is that was the COVID bubble and they went to the final. And in this playoff run, 9 goals, 5 assists for 14 points in just 14 games because he sustained an injury in the middle of the playoff. Dude was great, suffered an injury, came back, was great. He's unbelievable. 73 Stanley Cup playoff goals in his career and counting. Joe Pavelski, what can I say? That's a hat pick. Now, for our next hat pick, I mentioned the San Jose Sharks in there, and I need to mention them for this one. Do you know where the Vegas Golden Knights got Adin Hill from? They got him for the San Jose Sharks for a 4th round pick. Who did the Sharks pick with that 4th round pick, you ask? Nobody yet, because that 4th round pick is in 2024. Adin Hill's been fantastic. He's going to be a starting goalie in the Stanley Cup final later this week, and he stops himself from ending up on Steve's dangets with this save.
Now Domi plays it over to Esa Lindell. He'll dump it in. White Cloud got his stick in the way. White Cloud reversing it. Stopped by Domi. Domi flips it in front to Lambia. Oh, my Stars! What a stop by Adin Hill!
It doesn't matter right now. He has been fantastic. As you said, Parks, a sure goal. What an athletic move and the stretch of that arm all the way out.
If you're a goaltender, you don't need to tend the goal if you're going to make wicked saves like that. That is beautiful, vintage, flashing the leather stuff. Love that. Adin Hill. That's a hat pick. That was a great glove save from Adin Hill, but not to be outdone, here's a great glove save from Adin Hill.
Grabbed by Pavelski. Joe Pavelski trying to get it across for Hintz. Alone in front. Oh, what a save by Adin Hill. Absolute robbery.
And man, has he been good in this period too. Pavelski throws it across, and what I see is an awesome defensive stick play by Pietrangelo. Ends up dropping right down into Roope Hintz, and as he comes across, Watch Adin Hill's glove. It stays up and above his pad.
Listen, not that I feel like helping out the Florida Panthers, but if you want a scouting report, don't go glove. That's a hat pick. And we'll end with a collective hat pick. The Vegas Golden Knights have a chance to close out Dallas in Game 4. They lose. Dallas forces Game 5. And in Game 5, Dallas forces a Game 6. Vegas can't close it out. How are they going to do it? By going to Dallas and decimating the Stars 6-0 in an elimination game in Dallas's own barn. Instead of showing you all 6 goals, I'll just show you the one that I thought was the prettiest. Keegan Colasar finishes off a wicked rush passing play.
Johnston in the corner, knocked down, back to his feet, played it behind the net, then trying to catch up to it as Martinez will slide it up for Colasar. Colasar off the boards, connects with Carrier, in front, Colasar scores! What a setup, and the fourth line comes through again for Vegas. Keegan Colasar finishes it off. It's 3-0 Golden Knights.
When the seas are rough, and there's no doubt the seas have been rough in Vegas for the last 2 games as Dallas has climbed back in this series. Bruce Cassidy started this line in this all-important Game 6. Size, energy, physicality. These guys are your fourth line, and they're an extension of your team. And Bruce Cassidy plays 4 lines as much as anybody, and he stayed true to that even when things weren't going as well. He makes an adjustment by putting Roy down that line in the middle. He moves Houghton back up with Smith and Stevens.
How is that dude in their bottom 6? Skates it in, hands it off, gets it back. Oof! It's just pretty stuff from Keegan Colasar. Pretty stuff from the Vegas Golden Knights. And now, the Vegas Golden Knights will compete in their 2nd ever Stanley Cup final against the Florida Panthers, who are also competing in their 2nd ever Stanley Cup final. Neither team has ever won the cup. We are going to get a first-time cup winner. It's just the best. So that is it for this edition of Steve's Hat Picks. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. It's going to be a good SCF.